one of my favorite books is Conscious Loving by Gay and Kathleen Hendricks. And one of the things that they had in there was the microscopic truth that that thought that you have, that you're like, oh, I couldn't share that. That thought opens up the world to that other person.
Welcome to A Village in Progress. I'm your host, Alexis. Village in Progress is a weekly call between friends practicing meaningful connection in a world increasingly shaped by technology and AI. Each week, we'll share stories and insights from decades of friendship and explore the rituals and habits that have helped them thrive. We'll talk about the importance of the friendships we have and the ones we hope to build in the future. This is a space for honest talk and hopeful imagination about what it means to care, belong, and build community. I hope you'll join us because thriving villages aren't found. They are built intentionally together. Hey, it's Lex. Hope you're having a great day. Give me a call when you can. Bye.
All right. So I am so excited to be finally starting this podcast, excited and nervous and all the things that you mentioned to me.
Yes.
So for those of you listening and watching, today I'm sitting down with my very dear friend, Josh. We'll talk a little bit about how we met and how long we've been friends. But when I thought about starting this podcast and the first place to start and the first person to really start this journey with, you were hands down the obvious choice for me.
Thank you. I feel honored.
You're somebody that over the years we have dreamed really big together. We have talked about our futures. I mean, you and I sat next to each other for like
Years.
a decade,
Yeah.
like a decade.
Yeah.
We sat next to each other, worked next to each other, and talked about everything under the sun. And we're friends outside of work.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like you have always been a sounding board for me to bounce ideas off of and to get deep and to really explore. So you were really the first choice of person to start this, to explain this project to the best of my ability.
Yeah, right.
So thank you for being here. I really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm grateful that you chose me as the first person and excited to do it. And like I was saying, nervous and
yeah,
I don't know.
all the things.
All the
I mean,
things.
we're not people who I'm pretty comfortable, I think, talking in front of people, but not everybody is. So I really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, of course.
I really wanted to start this project because I have been listening and reading a lot about AI and how amazing it is, but also how isolating it might be in the future, about how people may feel lost, either being overwhelmed by all the technology or feeling like they can't keep up or feeling like they're being replaced. There was all kinds of things. And it really led me down this path. And everything I heard as in a response to that, like, well, what should I be doing? Should I get this job? Should I do this? Everything I heard was just like, go back to basics and make sure your relationships are really strong. That AI can't fully replace our face-to-face connections, our human connections, our emotional connections, our support systems, and that having people that you can rely on is going to be fundamental to surviving whatever these next few decades look like.
Yes, for sure.
And I thought, well, if that's what we can do while the world is figuring out what to do with technology, then maybe I could just make sure that my relationships are very solid. And I've always had this idea of sort of building a village, and it takes a village, that whole concept, like, and I really believe that.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, well, who's in my village and how can I better serve that village? And how can I lean on that village for support? And how can I make sure that everybody who I consider in my village also knows that I would be in theirs?
Sure.
How could I give that back?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the idea of this, I keep calling it a project, where this podcast project sort of came from.
Awesome.
So I thought, why don't I just call my friends
Do it.
have conversations with them and record it
Yes.
and see what happens.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the start of this.
Cool.
When I think about that, I thought, well, it would be helpful to explain sort of each one of my friendships. I feel like is very different, although we all, I think that everybody in my village either knows about each other or has met each other, which I also thought was pretty cool. Because I really love to bring people together. I thought we would give a little history on our friendship. So from your perspective, what do you remember about how we met?
We worked at the Busy Blondes real estate team.
Yes, we did.
And we were trying to find an assistant to replace me to do all the marketing and do all the things. And you came in just with a burst of energy. We just clicked right away.
Well, I was taking your job so you could go off and make more money.
Yes.
So that was probably also, you were training me so that you could step away.
Yes. And I was horrible at the job that
I was also horrible at that job. I had no business, no business being hired for that job.
No. I mean, it was, allowing me to take the next step into being a full-time real estate agent and being all commission, and which was super scary at the same time. And also training you and getting you up to speed on how to do all the things. And you took to all the things like a sponge. You were excited and energetic. And we just kind of clicked right away. Like there was like, oh, okay, this person's going to be my friend. Like I just knew that right away. What year was that?
Oh, I don't know the years, man. That was probably 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Coming on 13 years.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can't believe that I've known people like that long, and I felt like older when I met you.
Older when you met me?
Well, I don't know. I feel like when you're in your like late 20s, you approaching 30, you feel old.
Yeah.
But older, right? I guess. Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting younger every day.
I do too. I mean, now I feel like it's the opposite, but like at that time I felt like I was like very old and could handle myself for sure. You know, all the things. So I feel like we met at work and you trained me. And I mean, that place also was absolutely ridiculous. Did I work there like 2 years? It wasn't that long. You had worked there a very long time.
So I had altogether 10 years, but I think 8 years up until then. And when I started there, I think I was 28 and I was scared of my own shadow. Like I just couldn't, like I would wait until everybody left until I made a phone call to a client because I didn't know how to communicate with people and do any of that type of stuff. And then I got over that and then stepped into different roles and a bunch of people left and you came and I came and we crushed it for a bit. We did. We crushed it. Yeah. Well, then I started selling real estate. So then I was working with you and you really mentored me. So I just became like a mini Josh. Whatever Josh did, I did. Whatever he was telling people, this is exactly what I told people. So I think you were really, I would say Jody was a mentor of mine because she got me into thinking about coaching and thinking about these things. I hadn't really ever thought in that way before, but you were like a in the field, like hands-on mentor to me, probably my first mentor actually, which I never really realized. Now I come to think of you sort of like a brother. Yeah. But I think you were I would definitely say you were like my first real mentor. Oh, appreciate that. Yeah. Cool. Cause I just did whatever you did. Yeah. And then it got nutty there and we had to leave. Yes. We had to get out. Yes. And you were going to a new team. And I was like, would you mind if I followed you there? Because I need to go with you. Oh, I remember you taught me how to read a map. Oh, yeah. Remember, I couldn't read a map. We would be driving around to go look at new listings. And I would turn the map to go to follow where I thought it was going. And you would say, nope. And you would turn it back. And I'd be like, oh, I don't know where I'm going now. Where's the ocean? That's what I would say.
But I can say that I am much more directionally savvy now because you taught me how to use a map because we had to print out directions.
My job is done.
We can
finish this.
We had to print out directions when we started doing that. Right. There wasn't like, we didn't have our phones to do all these things. So I just want to highlight that you also taught me how to use a map. Part of your mentorship was the map.
When I moved here too, I was very directionally challenged, and I had to learn how to use a map as well. And that's where I found the ocean. That's west, and go from there.
That's where you knew to tell me.
Yes.
Yeah. So I followed you, and then you and I think you had a work ethic that I responded to also, of sort of the first in and last out and being there. And I think you, inherently, I must have known this too, but like you and I feel like really understood the importance of being in the office to absorb all the information we could. And we would listen in on everybody's conversations, and we knew what was going on with every deal, even not our own, so that we could learn, like, this is what you're not supposed to do, and this is what you should do. And so you and I really spent a lot of time together, learning and growing and really honing the skill of being a real estate agent, which I think a lot of people take for granted. I mean, we put way more time and energy into that than I think most agents do. Yeah. But I think in that, you and I developed a trust with each other. I always knew that you would say, you weren't afraid to tell me, like, no, that's not right, or you can't do that, or, but we always were able to bounce ideas off of each other. And so one of the things that I really value about you as a friend is your ability to also dream big and to think big and to really think outside the box. I mean, you are really good at looking at things from different perspectives and sort of evaluating it from there. And so I think I really learned how to develop that big thinking and that future thinking from all of our future talks and all of those things. Yeah. So Josh and I used to drive around, and we would have conversations with each other about the future.
Yeah. So we would say, all right, from a year, we haven't seen each other for a year. And we get into the car and go, oh my God, Alexis, this last year has been amazing. I have a new girlfriend, this new job. I've sold so many houses, whatever our dream was.
I bought this condo,
this whole thing. And we kind of put that out into the universe.
And those things would happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
We would talk about them and really embody them in those moments. Yeah. And then those things would happen. Yeah. And, I've really realized that since I have been sort of in almost like full-time mothering and doing that, and stepped away from that it is very easy to have your life just sort of go by. And if you don't set those intentions, it really doesn't stay on track the way you would have liked it to. It doesn't go off. It might not go off the rails, and you might still have these like one or two sort of goals that you want to do. But it really helped me in those years to get further faster and to really achieve things, because we did all of that and we put it out there. We knew where we were going, like very specifically.
Right. Yeah.
And you were always a very big part of helping me to do that. So I really appreciate that.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you gave me the comfort to be able to say no in those situations where if I did say that, you wouldn't react back and go, no. And it was always an open thing to be able to hear the things that I was saying and the feelings and whatever was coming up, and not take them and shove them aside and take them in. And that gave me more comfort to do that in the future. And I think that helped our dynamic and friendship grow and be in the place that it is.
Yeah. I think I can be very direct and very blunt, but I think you were always so open-minded that I think it forced me in those moments to like let go of a little bit of because some other people I gave just total direct and bluntness to, and we don't have that kind of friendship.
Right. Yes.
But you and I...
Yeah, and they couldn't handle it.
No, and they couldn't handle it. And you and I were always very authentic and upfront, but in a very respectful way.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. Yeah. Which leads me, I think, to why I thought you would also be, and we also were friends outside of work. I mean, we went on work trips, and you and I hung out for like 10 years.
Right. Yeah. Friends.
We would work all day. We would go out at night. We've gotten into some shenanigans. Maybe we'll
Yes.
get to that later.
Yes.
But when I think about this project in particular and where I am at this stage in my life, and the things that are really important to me, I've sort of gotten a little bit more spiritually curious, I'd say, in the last month or two. I think that started when you and I would talk about things like the universe, you know? And I think I always believed that there was a universal pull out there, sort of that idea of karma or of attracting energy and the energy you
Frequency and
put out,
vibration.
frequency, vibration. You did a lot of studying on those things on your own. And I feel like you would come into the office then and you would sort of share, because you were like, well, I don't even care about selling houses right now, but this is what I'm going on in my head.
Wide open, yeah.
And so we would also talk about that. I feel like we talked about big thinking and goals and planning just as much as we talked about major ideas and concepts and the universe and all these things. And then like real estate was like, yeah, a little bit like of our day. We'd have to like sit and talk
So I
about
think we
that.
were getting so focused and present in those talks that when we were with the client, that was like that. We were authentic with them and they gravitated towards us. And,
Yeah. So I have sort of been on that path, and a lot of the things that have come up for me are things that I've heard you talk about in the past. So I think I've always been, more spiritual than, let's say, religious or anything like that. Yeah. But I'm really starting to sort of wonder if having an anchor or believing in something bigger than yourself is important and sort of like, something to consider in finding like true happiness, or I don't know, what a peace, just peace, less stress, being able to be in the moment more, being able to enjoy things more. My daughter is 4 and I want to be like a calm place for her to go because, her life will get chaotic as it does. And so I want to be able to be that like calm presence. So I'm trying to like experiment with what that might look like.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you think about like spirituality? Because you've studied a lot of stuff. Do you consider yourself like a spiritual person?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. I've always been a learner and curious and a searcher for answers to things and all of that. And it started young. I remember for a while, like growing up in my teens and younger, I had a bit of a chaotic home life and I didn't really believe in God. I always said that and didn't really have a spiritual connection until I remember reading this book, The Celestine Prophecy.
The Celestine Prophecy?
Celestine Prophecy, yeah. And it's like an adventure that they're on search for these different insights. And all of these insights really coalesce with all the things that I've learned, like looking back at it. And I remember it was the first time that I started to like see like energy and things around people and
like colors of energy
and like things are like halos sometimes around people and like that type of thing. And I just got curious and connected to that and just started my search into that. And as far as I was thinking about this, like my spiritual growth, I felt like I've taken a number of steps and learned different things from, I did this thing called landmark education. And that was the first time that I understood that when we have a trauma in our life, we create this story that happens and we live our whole life through that story. And until we're able to see that story in a different light and go, oh, okay, I don't need to do this to get this love, or I don't need to do this to get attention. And once I understand that, now that pull to whatever that thing that may have been pulling me to a negative side, I can go, oh, okay, I can release that. So that was like my first. And then I stepped into that and went through a lot of therapy and different things from some of the trauma stuff that I had growing up and was able to release some different things. And then we actually did together the
Tony Robbins
and walked through fire. And the whole thing. And
that sent me on a vegan journey. I mean, that did a lot of things to me.
Yeah. And they had stuff about the Gestalt process and be able to really get into like the meat of those traumas and really understand those and see those and have different tools to be able to let go of all that type of stuff. From Tony's really into movement, like move your body. Like if you're stagnant, then that's when all the things slow down. And that's where my belief in frequency and vibration, like if I'm vibrating at a higher spot, then I'm going to attract others that are doing the same. And if I'm stagnant and woe is me and all these bad thoughts are spinning in my head, then that's even on the roads. People are going to cut me off more often than not when I'm in
and it's going to be their fault.
Right, exactly. And I had road rage back then and all that type of thing where I was like just angry at everything. It's because not all the things were working out the way that I wanted to. But I didn't know that I had all these things that were stopping me. And once I kind of took them from behind my head to go, oh, I don't need to do that as much anymore. Right. And then start to let those things go. And then so the kind of landmark education and that type of story talk, that was like elementary school. And then Tony Robbins was like middle school, high school. And then I did this thing. It was a spiritual psychology program with the University of Santa Monica. And it was a 10-month program. And we went once a month.
Did you do that twice?
Yeah, twice.
Twice, yeah.
And I remember having to talk to our boss, Stephanie, that I'm going to be gone 1 month a week. And she kind of freaked out a little bit, but
a week, a month. And then you needed some time when you came back to decompress from all the things that you had done.
Yeah. And that felt like a master's level program of just, it was almost like group talk where there were 3 people. So there was one person that was here that was talking, there was the facilitator, and there was the neutral observer. The neutral observer was just there to like, in their mind, spread positive love towards them, like you're perfect and complete. Just have this kind of creating that space around us. The facilitator was only there to reflect back what the person talking was talking about. So it was a lot of, okay, from what I'm hearing you say, this and this and this happened. And that allowed them to hear it maybe in a slightly different way. And from there, they saw a new path of where their story was and was able to open things up. And that really led me down a road of being a mirror for people. It really took the ego out of me, and I didn't have to have a say in things because I saw such wonderful things. And that's really sparked in me what I wanted to do. Is anybody that I came in contact with is to somehow affect their state in a certain way, whether it's letting somebody in and driving on the road to a deep conversation that allows somebody to get that aha or that thing that they had not even known about. And that changes their state and changes their perspective on life and has a whole different life. And then that ripples through the rest of their community and my community and just,
right.
And just, that's what,
because they take that energy and then they spread that energy and then who knows where
exactly.
It goes.
They tell their friend, oh, this person did this for me today. And they go, oh, that's really cool. And then maybe they tell another person. So it's just
so that allowed you to see people without any judgment and to just hold space for them, essentially.
Yeah.
Which is really difficult to do.
Yes.
In practice.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It was a lot of work and a lot of being with myself, and
which most people also can't do.
Yeah. I mean, I was fortunate to have the teachers that I had and the father that I had to kind of instill that and to kind of step into those hard conversations and open up as a person, I guess.
So then I feel like you went on that journey and then you sort of thought, I do want to go out and see what else is out there. Because then, dun, da, 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 van life, Josh. Most of my friends from after real estate know you as Van Josh, right? Okay. Because around the time that I got pregnant and I left, you also decided to take like what now turned out to be like a sabbatical, and you sold your place. Mm-hmm. You had like a sweet
Sweet.
townhome in the
That townhome.
marina,
Yeah.
like what everybody is dying
Yes.
for.
Yes.
Josh was at the top of his game, had like a killer spot that you'd just like totally remodeled
within like 6 months to 8 months before. Yes.
And you decided to like pack it all up and sell it all and move into a van and travel around and be a nomad.
I still don't know how it happened.
Yeah. And you were gone for like 2 years, 3 years, 3 years. Oh, yeah, because you just got back and Lucy just turned 4. That is wild.
Yeah.
So did that sort of awakening sort of coincide, like give you the confidence to be able to do that eventually? I mean, I know a lot of other things happened and it was COVID and it was this.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that that played a part in that decision?
What?
The spirit, like just your like sort of awakening of this sort of like spiritual journey that you took.
Yeah, I felt like at that point of my life, I had most things that I wanted. I had a house that I wanted. I had an amazing dog that I wanted. The relationship I knew was coming, but life was just fine. And I didn't want a fine life. I wanted an extraordinary life. And I still don't know how it came to be. Oh, I guess I do. My pup of 14 years, Maxine. She passed away during the pandemic.
Right.
And after I realized that I didn't have anything holding me to Los Angeles, and I could start to dream about things. And I happened to be scrolling on TikTok and I saw this guy building out this adventure van, and I had this vision of like what it could be, like in an instant. It was like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I let it sit, and then for like just like a few days, and then the idea kept on popping back into my head, and I was like, okay, is this something? And mind you, my dad was not a very handy person. I liked the outdoors, but I didn't like camping. I'm a boozy bitch.
You are totally bougie.
Yes.
Like not
Yes, I need my comforts. Like outdoors is great, but when it's time to sleep and be comfortable, we need to be comfortable. It's like the thing to do. So the ideas kind of kept on coming back, and I was like, could I do this? Could I like sell my place and buy a van and get it built out and start traveling? Like, what would I do? Like, I had like, no, like I need to go see this place. I need to do this type of thing. I was like, just go and do it. And the idea just kept on like staying there. And I was like, okay. And then I started researching more about it. And I remember I had a conversation with you about it and some other friends, and some friends were, I think you and others were like, oh, that's super cool. And others were like, what are you doing? Like, that's crazy. Like, you're just going to sell your life and go do this thing. And I was like, I guess.
But the thing I knew about you, which is the thing I also know about me, and because I watched us do it together, is that we have built that life for ourselves by ourselves and could do it again if we needed to.
Yes.
So that doesn't scare me, sort of going back and starting something from the beginning or doing that, because I think I knew that you were smart enough to make decisions to maybe have a safety net for yourself financially or something like that.
Right.
And that, you know, whatever came out at the end of your van experience would be whatever it was supposed to be, and you would go from there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it happened so quick from the idea to me.
I bought a van.
So I literally sold my house, closed on my house, was October 31st. And I flew out to South Carolina and bought a brand new van and met the guy that I met on TikTok, the guy that was doing that thing. And like every step along the way, like I was so nervous about like, what am I doing? Like I had so many conversations, like, what are you doing? And just like the synchronicities of things like kept on going, like from the van builder, his name was Josh also. And we were chatting on the phone kind of the first couple nights and found out that his birthday is July 31st. My birthday is July 31st.
Also, so, my friend, rest in peace, Josh, was July 31st.
Oh, dude, I didn't know that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities with that. Yeah.
And so it was meant to be.
Yeah. And just like I kept on getting reinforced every step that I made with it. From there to 4 months, I had flown out there and bought the van and drove it into a shop. And we started taping out where
I
different
know you
things.
would send me these videos. I'd be like,
Yeah.
whoa,
I know.
whoa.
Yeah. And just the
Like there's a shower in there.
right. Yeah.
Whoa.
There's a flat screen TV. There's a queen size bed. There's like the whole thing. And yeah, then he built it over the next number of months. And then it was during the pandemic. So it was like the busiest time in the world.
Everyone's building out vans.
And everyone was selling houses and buying houses because everyone was in this small house with like
Right.
6 people. Like, we're going to kill each other unless we get something bigger. And so I just started like working and like building up some cash reserves to be able to go. And I got one magical deal at the end. It was like a $4 million deal, and it's like 40 grand in my pocket to like send me off into the sunset, and off I went.
And off you went.
Yeah.
Were you doing part of this like van sort of nomad community? Because then you found people, and then what was that place called? Kift. So you found different people, but you had also, I think in early pandemic, started doing like dance circles. Like you had really been, I think, when we talk about our villages and community, like you had really been sort of curating a community for yourself for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
And picking that out, and really, like, we didn't talk about the sound lounge, but I think that was also part of the first, you were doing all this spiritual work, but then we started doing the sound lounge. And I don't know if you want to describe the sound lounge.
Sure.
Is that what it's really called, or is that what we call it?
Yeah, it's called
That's what it's called.
Yeah. So it's a massage bed that they integrate speakers inside the bed, and you lay down on it, put headphones on, you hear the high frequencies through there.
It's very plush. It's very comfy.
Plush. Oh yes. And you put a little eye pillow on, and then you feel the bass vibrations vibrate through the bed, and you can play any song that has a bass vibration. They created a number of different tracks that were attuned to certain frequencies for abundance.
What was that Katy Perry one?
Oh, the Katy Perry song, the horse or something like that. It bumped. That song bumped. I don't know what the vibration that's in there.
I would lift out of my body listening to that song and dream about taking over the world.
Yeah. My dream is one day that Katy Perry will meet me
and do the sound lounge to her own song.
Yes,
I think she would actually really enjoy that.
Billie Eilish song. There's two songs. Those songs are like just resonate, makes you feel like you're floating. It's quite
I remember when I first met Lee and I took him over to do that, and he cried. He cried.
He's sober. Cried.
And he was like, what just happened to me? Like, I think I need a minute. It really brings out emotions. I would have very like that Katy Perry song. And then there would be times where I would also cry like on it. Cause before we would go out, this was like our pregame we would like drink and smoke. And then we would get on the sound lounge and like get all the vibrations and then we would be like, what?
Shut up.
And then we would go out and like party all night and have a good time. Yeah. But like, so you had been sort of playing around with these frequencies, doing these things. You had a whole like room in your condo where it was set up for sort of these intentional moments. Yeah. And I know you joined some dance circle or dance groups.
Yeah. It's, my dad introduced me when I was like 18, 19 years old. He had been dancing kind of all his life. There's this different type of dance called 5 rhythms dance, where the kind of entire...
Your dad did that?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
He danced with someone called Gabrielle Roth. I think that's what her name is. And she was like the originator of 5 rhythms back in the 70s. And a lot in Northern California, Marin County. And he introduced that to me. And when I was like 18, 19 years old, like I was like this,
like, what is this?
Shy, like kid, like, what am I doing? But my dad was there, and I always trusted my dad was an amazing man. And he introduced that to me, and there was like something freeing, like the kind of the structure of the class or experience is at the beginning, it's very slow. And then it builds up to staccato and chaos, and you can dance out any feelings or anger or frustrations or whatever you had and get all that out. And then it comes down into like a Vipassana, and it's just like a nice arc to kind of bring everything up and settle everything back down. And it was very healing to me. And I had all kinds of different experiences. There was one time where I was in some classes they had us pair up and kind of dance together. And there was one time my dad has passed away. He passed away probably 15 years ago. And there was someone that I was dancing with that looked just like him, like from the glasses to the scruff to the height that he was. And we started dancing, and then we just stopped and like eye gazed and both started bawling. Like that was my dad. Like I felt like he was there with me, and he started crying, and then kind of the class continued. And then after the class, I went up to him and he's like, that was really amazing. He's like, you reminded me of one of my best friends that has passed away, and you were him. And I was shared the same thing. And so I've had those types of experiences, and I continue to the day. There's
that gave me the bumps, the goosebumps.
Yeah. And yes, to have connection to my dad and to be able to kind of get these things out that can get stuck in my body and the community that I was able to start to build. And it's now grown to a fantastic place of different types of people, and being able to have conversations like this and deeper than just the surface stuff that a lot of people get into.
So who do you consider your village or your community?
So it's a number of different kind of areas. So I have from kind of the sports and athletic side of me. I've played a lot of paddle tennis and volleyball and anything where it's interactive with kind of groups of other people. And sports for me allows me to be so focused in the moment of just concentrating on that. And I love sports. I've grown up with sports all my life.
I tried to be on a kickball team do you remember we did that like a few times, but you were so competitive. He was like, oh, God damn it, Alexis, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I just came here to drink beer and hang out. Like, I don't even know how to play this.
I've told that.
I think I only went to like 2 of those games. This is not for me.
Yeah. So the kind of the sports kind of part of my village and the people that are there and learning and understanding about them and sharing different skills that I have to help them. And also in the moment, people can get, especially in sports, very frustrated at themselves. I have a way of being able to like help calm people down and little comments and stuff to get them out of their things. And
you're like the guru of the sports team.
Sure. Like the rah and like just able to like positivity. And I know that the words that we use are very important. The universe is always listening. So I like to spread that. So that kind of sports side, the dance community that I have, I do a dance every Saturday in LA. And then after we do a picnic in the park, so we get to have these kind of deeper conversations, and everyone's, for the most part, spiritually aligned-ish, to be able to have that. And people came for my birthday, and we've had different events and different things. Work, I'm very grateful to have a lot of people there that I consider my friends and also really enjoy working with. And then friends that I've picked up along the way, and especially on the road, like the amount of friends that I picked up and the bonds that you create they develop so much quicker than in reality in this world. When I went out on,
why do you think that is? And what do you mean when you say they do? Like, what do you mean by that?
When I went out on van life, I really felt like I stepped outside of the matrix, because everybody on the road, at least the people that I met, were shirt off their back, like whatever they can do to help. I remember going to my first nomadic festival, and people were like, "You're new to van life?" I was like 3 weeks in, and they're like, "Oh, show me your van. Let me help you with this." All the different things. And then I started to go out, and like after that festival, I traveled with like 4 or 5 different people, and we went all over Oregon and like had different adventures. And I remember coming back to Los Angeles after my van life and realized that it takes a lot longer back here to develop friendships. People have their things that they're doing. It's harder for them to get out of their comfort zones. And I recognize that in the van life, you go out and do these different adventures. You don't know where you're going to sleep that night. You get to a place, it doesn't work out. People haven't slept for a while. They're at their worst. And you see the people that you can get along with. And so shared experiences and shared disappointments bond people so much quicker when you are at your worst and you can come together. You go, okay, I can ride with this person. And then that opens up to have deeper conversations about things. And then being out in nature,
under the stars,
you take a lot of hikes and lots of walks. And
well, you're just sitting there. You're not watching TV. Right. Nobody is like has their phone out. Exactly. They're not
and so
preoccupied or distracted.
Like having walks and hikes are like my favorite thing. You're not sitting face to face, and a lot of people can get uncomfortable with that and having people look at them. So you're walking kind of side by side and you can open up about things. And
right.
You're out in nature, and that's where you can develop friendships and different things so much quicker. And it was a struggle coming back to.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you find it hard to switch that, or did you try to take things that you had learned and implement it, or how has that experience shifted your relationships when you came back and even now?
Yeah, I mean, when I first got back, I was like super energized and motivated and like getting back to work and creating a structure. I'd been on the road.
Because you wanted to like root yourself.
Right. Yes. And that was something that I was wanting also. Like being out on the road for 3 years, it's hard living. Like it's not an easy thing to do. And the constant motion is a freneticness that can frazzle you after a long period of time. And to have some roots was something important to me. And the first month or two coming back, it was like, great, this is great. I'm starting to find things and things are working out. And then all of the problems and issues that I had left back home when I did van life were conveniently left right back where I had left them. And they started to bubble up and things started to kind of feel like almost a little bit back when before there was no more newness. Like every day on the road was something new. There was something that I had never experienced before, someone that I had never talked to. This was like the same thing. And I was like, I lost the joy of things. The things that I had done in the past weren't bringing me the same joy. And I lost it all. I was like, oh, dude, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I used the different tools and I asked for help that I had learned along the way. We have an amazing coach, Coach MJ, and she helped me all through
She's going to be on the show.
Oh, is she?
By the way.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm talking to her next week. She helped me all through kind of my spiritual growth, my dark night of the soul, the whole thing to kind of help reshape me. And I was able to give her a call to be able to help rattle myself from not falling back into that same rut that I was before.
So what are like some of the, like one of the things that you tried to focus on or
there's a few things, just getting back into a routine and moving my body and meditating and breath and all of that. And also I did a journey with someone that I had met on the road, and I'd always wanted to do that, but was needed to find someone that I felt safe with. My mushroom experiences in the past were very chaotic. I don't know if we want to go into that story.
You mean when you ended up on the beach under a towel?
That was one. The other one, I ran over the car. So it was set and setting were not very good.
Right.
So I met him on the road and felt like instantly connected with him and felt very safe with him.
Yeah.
And had a psilocybin journey with 9 other people. And it really felt like it shook me clean. Like I saw a perspective that I hadn't seen before. I had always had, and I was talking to somebody yesterday. I always felt like I carried this like dread with me. Like I had all these positive thoughts and the things that we talked about in the future and all that stuff, but deep down it's like, it's not going to work out. Why are you even trying? Like that type of thing. And it's like, when I'm not doing something, then that's when my head starts spinning, where things aren't working out the way that I want them to. And that's like more evidence. But there was something in that experience where that just like shook that clean and just like let it
go
away. Yeah. I remember there was one instance. So a lot of the experience was on our mat and had an eye mask on, and for like the first like 2 or 3 hours. And that's different than any other type of experience.
Yeah.
It's a lot internal. And I remember there was one point where I kind of like raised my hand, and there was a few facilitators, and one of them, she came over and grabbed my hand, and I'm like, oh, sorry, it's super clammy. And then she's like, no, it's perfect. And I had this thing wash through me that's like, oh, I can be just that.
Right.
I can be just the person that I
However
am,
this is.
and someone's going to find that.
Right.
I don't have to try to be something else or for somebody else to try to get that attention and love. Whatever I'm doing right now, that's fine. That's great. I can be just that. And that shifted. So whenever there was a situation where I was nervous or awkward or whatever, I had access to that and go, okay, no, I can be just this. I can
be just as you are.
Just as I am. And that definitely helped. And I had an experience with God. I had to be able to see him or whatever in a new light and have access to that. Like the love for everybody and everything kind of just all coalesced. And I have a different perspective on things than I did before.
That's so interesting. I mean, I'm glad that happened for you. I think being your friend for all this time, I have always felt like you embodied all that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like you've always been one of my most accepting, sort of open-minded, I've always felt totally free to be all of myself, like at any moment around you. So I guess you've always created an environment for me where I could be my alter ego self, where I could be my work self, where I could be my like physically in pain self. I mean, I remember like times where like my health wasn't that good, like all kinds of things. Like I've been able to like fully just let it all hang out with you.
Yeah.
But hearing that you really couldn't let it all hang out for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you found this way, I think makes me happy inside to know that you have that because you've always provided that for me.
Thanks. Yeah.
That space.
In the past, it was hard for me to show my emotions and the things that may not be going well. And I was very good at hiding that from the outside world. Like from a lot of people didn't know a lot of the things that.
Well, I think in our work life too, I think we have to acknowledge that like you were sort of on a pedestal because you performed so well at work.
Yeah.
And especially in real estate, I feel like, real estate is really great, gave me access to big thinkers, to positive thinking, to the power of our words, to the power of our thoughts. Like, I think they all really buy into that. There's also a sales side to that. Yeah. But, and I think that you probably felt like you had to embody that all the time because you were, but maybe not totally internally.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But you were like a leader on the team and someone that everyone else should look up to because you were productive.
Right. Yeah.
But, we all
go through stuff, things come up and especially when I was gone too, like the lore of me like kept on increasing. Like
it builds
the amount of sales that I think 29. I think I had 29.
You sold 100 homes,
and then it was like 40 and 50. I was like, whoa, let's pump the price. Like,
you're like, I never did that. I never did that.
And then when I came back, like my perspective on work and life balance was like completely shifted.
You're like, I don't actually really want to do all of that now.
Yes, exactly. And I think it took a little time for my boss and for other people in the office to like go, oh, okay, he's different. Like, and I've gotten reflected that a lot with different people different agents that I hadn't seen for 3 or 4 years and come back, like Vivian Lesney. I say, she's like, you're a different person now. Like you're completely different than what you were before. And I was like, definitely shifted. Van life definitely shifted me in a way that I had no knowledge or expectation of what that was going to be.
So you have a lot of different communities that you consider part of your village. You and I have been friends for a very long time, and very close friends. So we haven't been friends for 20 years, but I feel like we have been through decades and decades worth of experience because we have spent so much time together.
Yeah.
So for other people, for people listening or watching that are working to grow these relationships or keep them strong, what do you think are a few ways? Like, let's start with ours first. So why do you think we have remained so close? We don't live near each other now. We haven't worked with each other for the last 4 years.
At least, yeah.
Why do you think we've stayed so close?
I feel that,
or what do you think we do besides make each other laugh and just have so much fun?
I think we still dream together and we still commiserate with each other and share the things that are not on the surface. And that keeps the spark alive, even if we don't talk for a few weeks to a month or so. Whenever we get back together, it's like instant magic. And it's just back to all the times where we were sitting next to each other for years and years. And yeah, I think that's definitely a big thing.
How do you think you show the people in your life that you care about them?
It's kind of a twofold thing. It's being vulnerable to talk about, like, I'm very open about how I'm feeling, what's coming up for me, what's around me. I'm always speaking to that. Or if I see something that I don't feel is right, like there was a time when we used to work, we had this competitor that everyone used to bad talk. And that wasn't part of where I came from. And I would always say something. So it's the vulnerability to do those different types of things. And I also learned over the years to take my ego out of play and to be a mirror to people and to allow other people to shine. Like, one thing that I felt that has helped in conversations and being with others is knowing when to step in with a conversation or an idea or a thought. There's going to be a conversation going on. There's going to be a thought that pops into your head that, like, oh, I can add this to this conversation, or I can interject this, or I want to talk about this because I want to talk about me. And I've learned that there's always a right time to say that. There's going to be a lull in the conversation or something. And I've found, since I've been doing that, it allows people to open up and complete and tell their story. I remember in the past when I had that thought, I wouldn't be present with that person because I'd be like waiting to say whatever that is.
Right.
And if I had interjected it at a time that wasn't natural in the conversation, it stalled the conversation. It made the person that was telling their story or sharing their experience, they were cut
off.
Yeah,
right. They just
off.
stopped talking.
So I've really learned to have it in my head, go, okay, there's a thought, and I'll let it be back there and still focus on where the conversation is. And if it has a natural lull, then I can do it. But if it doesn't, and then go, okay, that thought's gone. Like, it's not part of this conversation. And that was a learning for me to be able to get that. And I feel that that's helped foster my community and grow that with different people, to be able to have them have their time.
Well, and also when you do that with the people that are already in your community, it like makes those relationships deeper and more meaningful.
And they want to come back and have more conversations because it's more authentic and we're more present. And that's the other side, is I do as much as I can to remain present, and from meditation and breath work and doing all of those things like that helps. Like, for the longest time I meditated and I started slow and built up, and I didn't really get the point of what meditation was for until when I was on the road. There was someone that was teaching this mindfulness class that I met. And he was saying that when you're meditating, you're usually focusing on one specific thing, whether that's your breath or something in your body or whatever it is. And your mind is going to eventually wander away from that. And it's the noticing that brings you back. Like, oh, okay, I'm out here. And I used to play a game with myself, which is like, once I drifted off, I would go, oh, number one, okay, I remembered, I noticed, bring it back. And what he explained to me was that happens when you're in conversation with people. You're going to be talking together, and then that thought or the different thing starts to go, and it pulls me out of being present. And the practice of meditation is coming back to
Bring
center.
it back.
Is every time that I can bring that back or notice, like at the first, when I first started meditating, it took me a while. Like it felt like I had meditated for 20 minutes, 18 of those minutes I was
over somewhere else.
Now it's like shrinking down so I can have that thought and go, okay, it's back here. I can interject if I need to, but I don't have to concentrate on that. I can concentrate back on you. And that's helped me be more present with people. And I feel that that's why I've been able to really develop a big community and be able to be with people in a different way than I see a lot of other people.
Well, this actually ties in perfectly to, so what I hear you saying is that people feel seen by you. So they want to be around you because that they feel comfortable around you.
Yeah.
So I listen to this podcast all the time called Diary of a CEO, and I absolutely love it. And this isn't an ad or anything, but if you have never listened, you should check it out because it's incredibly interesting and informative, I think. And they have created a series of conversation cards that are in levels 1, 2, and 3, from sort of like warm up, icebreaker to like more deep, meaningful, introspective questions. Yeah. And they're ones that all their guests have asked, so they've compiled them. So I bought the cards, and some of them are really, really great questions. And so I picked 2 of them to ask you. Okay. And one of them is, when was the last time that you felt truly seen? Which is great because I feel like you give that to other people.
Yeah. It was a few months ago during the summer. And I'd been going through some kind of rocky thoughts and stuff and just couldn't. And this is when I was just settling back into reality life again, back into the matrix. And yeah, just didn't know who I was and didn't feel seen. And a friend that I'd met when I was out on the road, she was getting married at her amazingly beautiful property in Oregon. And there were a number of friends that I had met along the way that were coming too. And I hadn't seen a lot of people from the road in probably over a year, and kind of was starting to feel like I was losing connection. Because when you're on the road, it's hard to stay connected just because you're always moving. It's a little different. And when I came back and was back at the property that I had spent many months, she was one of the houses for the gift community that I was part of. I spent a lot of time there, and they just saw me for the Josh that I was. And that, like, it reinvigorated me. It's like, oh, okay, that part of me is still there. Like, I thought I started to lose part of that.
What did they do?
Nothing really. It was what they had done before, like just having the conversations and being curious about things. And when they asked me how I was doing, I'm fine. And then they would dig in more, and then we'd have conversations, and then we had adventures and experiences and that, and it kind of reinvigorated me to recognize and feel more comfortable with myself, and to have that different arc of different things. And
you could tell they were curious because they didn't take fine for
right. Yes. And yes, like they were just the genuineness of the friendship, like just reconnected. Like I hadn't seen them for over a year or so, and we just fell right back into like an amazing connection and friendship. And I was like, oh, okay, it can be like this. And I have access to these different types of things and can recognize that is still part of me. And that's, since then I've had a different outlook on things. And
you feel like you keep pulling back to that moment, and moments where you feel like you're a little off track.
Yeah.
You can pull from all those experiences.
Yeah.
That's great. So here's another question that I had from you. You talked a lot about having sort of these internal struggles that people couldn't see from the outside. It's like you knew what I was going to ask you and you didn't. So the second question that I picked to ask you, because I felt like you could handle answering this, was what is the most obvious thing that you struggle with now? And how could your village or your community support you in that, either now or in the future?
The toughest thing for a while has been finding a romantic relationship and having my village be able to keep supporting me and listen in the times where I may be struggling, and having some of those spiraling thoughts and more evidence that it's not going to work out and that type of thing, to use my community and tools and experiences to not allow myself to step down into that depressive state that I've had in the past.
So is that like you calling the community? Is it you? How can we look out for you?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I've been much better at asking for help. And knowing that I can't do it all on my own. I don't know all the things.
You don't?
No.
Shocking. Shocking.
And yeah, for friends to reach out and schedule conversations and times and experiences to get into those types of conversations and to allow myself to be helped, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will pay attention to that as well.
Yeah.
And also, I guess if your community knows anybody,
Sure.
can keep that. Would you say your light is like on to meet somebody?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, and I've been dating again, and I've gone out to different events and different things, and I've been doing things on my own. I went to that corsage thing.
You need to just have a birthday party like every 6 months. You need to start having half birthday parties. Josh really thrives at his birthday parties, or just parties at your house.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a birthday,
right?
But parties.
Yes, I guess. Yeah, the last 2 birthdays that I've had, I've met somebody from the party and dated for a little bit. So yes. Let's start throwing more parties.
Okay,
definitely down.
More social interaction. Yes. Ooh, you should have one of those pizza parties. You should have like a pizza night. Yeah. You could probably get like a projector, like movie screen in your backyard.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have enough place to do it. You should have like a pizza movie night.
Yeah.
In your backyard.
That's a good idea.
I would come.
Okay.
I'm coming. Let's do it.
Just do it.
Okay. All right. I just think of things I would want to go to, and your backyard is like perfect for that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing.
So if you and Dennis got together and, and that pizza guy, that pizza was very good. Yeah. Legit.
Yeah. I mean, that's what my goal is now, is to do things towards my highest excitement. Like, I'm always looking for things. Like, I feel right now my life is very full with so many different things. I've been doing ceramics and pottery for my whole life, and found a studio 5 minutes away from my house and starting to meet people there and being creative.
You're doing that again?
Yeah.
So you can make something for the wall.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Make us a little honey pot.
Okay. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah,
a little bowl.
Just glazed some stuff yesterday. So from that to that's what anytime that I see something that's intriguing and creative and will put me around people who think a little different than just the normal everyday, I'm on a routine, I'm stuck in a rut and I'm doing stuff. I want to get out of that and find people to do amazing, unique things. Like, as I'm starting to get older, the time is so important, and I only have a certain amount of time to be able to do some of these things, and my body is not going to be at the same health at a certain amount of time. So I want to be able to utilize what I'm doing for as long as I can, and the money will come. Like, there's a different relation to work and that. And I know money can come very quick. And when
you're a magnet.
Yeah. I'm a magnet for money.
That was your mantra for a long time.
Yeah, I'm a magnet for money, and money comes to me in expected and unexpected ways today.
And it did a lot. It does.
Being a magnet and just money shitting you all different places. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I mean, I think I'm in the same place. I think I am really wanting, when I thought about getting really back into work and what I wanted to do, there was nothing in my body that was pulling me towards real estate, towards that grind. Now, I also did not have the same sort of like satisfaction and connection to like working with clients that you do, that you get. I just didn't. I always loved the coaching and the talking and all of that way more, and the team and all of that, than I did the clients. So for me, it was like swimming upstream all day, every day. But when I thought about, do I want to be sort of having to like answer my phone 24/7 or my emails, and like what boundaries would I want to create for myself? I really started to think about who I wanted to be and who I wanted to show up for. And when I dreamt really big, I would think about, who is that person in that dream?
Yeah.
Who is that person? What is she about? What kind of things does she do? And that kind of helped me really align more with, that is who I want to show up as. That's who I would, when I think about telling someone like about myself, are the things that I would want to tell somebody real, or are they things I haven't done yet, or, and just working towards that alignment. And so I think that's where like creating boundaries and being able to say no to things, or that's not for me, and that's totally okay, because it frees you up for all the other yeses that are going to take you to the next place, the next thing, the next people, the whatever. So I've really been trying to focus on that also, and just fill my time with things that move me and my family and my just forward into the place that I see for myself when I think about myself. Okay. So the next sort of part of this is I'm calling yup or nope.
Okay.
So there's a lot of statistics and a lot of studies actually that they've done on friendships, not romantic, relationships, but friendships specifically. So I'm going to say something and you tell me if you think it's, yep or nope. Okay. Friendship outranks cholesterol as a predictor for long-term health.
Sorry, outranks?
Outranks, like it is a higher predictor of long-term health over something like cholesterol.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
Major yep.
Yes.
So they have done a ton of studies. There's one out of Harvard where they have tracked people at the age of 50, and they can tell by the quality of their relationships, their friendships. If they have stronger friendships, it's a stronger predictor that when they're 80, their health will be higher than if they were to just test things like cholesterol, or if you smoked, or if you, So having good relationships and having those friendships actually makes you healthier, makes you live longer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
You live like 7 to 10 years longer if you have solid relationships. And it's not shocking. It's not quantity over quality. It's quality over quantity. So some people, I think, surround themselves with tons and tons of friends, right? I'm not one of those people. I have a group, but having even like 1 to 2 people you can call on in a crisis moment, vital. 7 to 10 years, vital. I think that's pretty incredible.
Yeah. I mean, my dad used to work for someone named Dean Ornish, Dr. Dean Ornish. He wrote a number of different books, one, Eat More, Weigh Less. And through his program of diet and stress reduction, he was able to reverse people's heart disease, like literally open up their arteries. There was these different retreats that my dad would be facilitator at. And at the beginning of the week, some of the participants couldn't walk across a long room without getting like a little
out of breath.
And he would do all of these different types of kind of experiments and thought things. And one was he hooked somebody up to all these different EKG and monitors and all the things. And we're just asking him different questions. And then he kind of snuck one in just to prove a point. He said, all right, now I want you to tell me your deepest, darkest secret. And all the things went all wild. And then my dad went, no, you don't have to say it. You don't have to say it. But I just wanted to show that just you thinking about having to share those things with strangers made all of your stresses and constrictions elevate.
Right.
And it's such a thing that being able to notice those and release some of those is going to make you healthier. It's not just the stuff that you eat, which is important, but it's this other stuff that people that are type A hold on to stuff.
It's the stress. It's laughing with your friends, sharing joy, being vulnerable, all the things that make up friendships help us live longer, and live better.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. So here's the second yep or nope.
Okay.
It takes 300 hours of friend to friend time to equal a best friend.
No.
No?
No. It's shorter.
That is true. That is a yup. Let me give you.
Okay.
50 hours is a casual acquaintance.
Okay.
An acquaintance or a casual friend. So this is a study from J.A. Hall in 2018. How many hours does it take to make a friend?
Yeah.
And there's this is like ongoing study, I think, from like 2018 to 2021. They've done a number of studies on this, on the frequency of time it takes to build friendships. Okay. So 50 hours is an acquaintance or a casual friend. 90 hours moves a casual friend to a friend. 200 hours moves a friend to a close friend. And 300 plus hours moves into best friend, BFF for life status. Yeah. We have definitely spent more than 300 hours together. But I think that's interesting because we also come from a background where we always used to talk about like 10,000 hours of mastery makes this, and this. But I think it's one of those things that you really do have to put in time, and you have to put in a quality of time.
Shared unique experiences, things that might not go right, be able to help when we're down, help when we're up, be able to either. Yeah.
And I think that's why they do say too that like proximity is one of the like easiest predictors for like if you will become a close friend, because I think you do have to spend a lot of time with each other. Yeah. And I think you and I working together that way built up a bond. And maybe that's why we're also like, we'll be friends for the rest of our lives, because we spent so much time together.
And not talking
at the front low.
Right.
Yeah. And time together in proximity because we were working close to each other. But in the conversations that we shared with each other, we were legitimately sharing, we were being vulnerable with each other for a long time. So I thought that was kind of interesting. How many hours did you think it would take? Also, there are very fine lines for what is like a friend and a close friend and a best friend.
For sure. Yeah. I thought that it could be shorter just from my experiences being on the road. Like I developed a friendship within 50, 100 hours being together because we were in such unique situations.
So maybe that would front load it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So, but yeah, I could see, the developing of time to uncover different things.
But if you had 300 hours with those people in that, then you would definitely like be friends with those people for the rest of your life.
Oh, yes. Yeah. And I spent years, few years with some of those people. And I equate 3 years that I was on the road, I had 40 years of experiences of things that happened on the road that compared to reality.
How many of those people were also new to being on the road?
It was
like, were there wise old van life people that you met, and then like a group of like freshmen?
Yeah. So when I first started meeting people, like I would kind of the most was like 5 and 6 years on the road, which is a long time.
That is a long time.
Yeah. And then kind of everything in between. Does
it make you a little wacky? Not wacky. Like 6 years on the road. Is that like a different type of person?
Some of them are. Yeah. Because then, when you've stepped out of that other reality for so long, then you have different views and different ways of being. And
right. You're not confronted with a lot of things all the time that are different.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digress. I just was thinking, 6 years on the road.
But from anything from, people who are just starting out and people that were, for the most part, it was people had been on the road for a year to 2 to 3. That was kind of most of what I saw.
All right. So we're going to get to the Ripple challenge, but is there anything when we talk about friendships and we talk about community, is there anything that we didn't cover that we should have talked about? Anything you would like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, one thing, being on the road and being part of this nomadic community, it was very interesting. I got in the very beginning. So the community was this group raised a couple $1 million, and they wanted to have a nomadic community for people who are on the road and van life and bus life and all those things. So they rented out 4 houses up the West Coast, one in Joshua Tree, one in Northern California, one near Portland, and one up in Discovery Bay in Washington. And we had a house that we were able to use for showers and laundry and community, and we cooked together and we started growing this community. At the beginning, there was like 15, 20 of us, and then we started to grow. And at the height of it, we had 90 plus people. And
it's a lot.
It's a lot of people for especially being on the road. Like, I started working for them as membership and talking to people about my experiences in the community and having them come and check out the community. And it was very difficult to convince people or share with people to come and pay for something that they were already getting for free on the road.
Right.
But whenever anyone came, they're like, oh, this is a really cool experience. And cooking together and sharing all of that and building that community was a very interesting process. It's because we all had to agree on certain tenets that we were going to live by and what food we were going to eat. And there was every different type of personality type that there is out in the world was in that 90 people. It was so interesting, like all the different dynamics and how people would be stubborn about something or angry about it. And I've always been an observer. That's always been my kind of place in the world. And so it was very interesting just like watching the dynamic of how people got upset and how I was able to help and other people were able to help kind of settle things down and make things kind of keep moving forward. And it can be difficult to create community, and it takes a lot of strength and mental to be able to move those relationships forward. And when something doesn't happen, to be able to have the kind of tools to be able to clean up those messes and still have that relationship so it can move forward, rather than something happens and people resent each other and then they separate and never see each other again. It's be able to utilize. And I learned a lot of stuff on the road about how to do that, and had a lot of opportunities to have those different types of things. And from learning about nonviolent communication and all those different types of things to have conflict resolutions, it's helped me in my day-to-day life and to help communities grow and my village grow. And it's, I mean, that's.
Is there one thing that comes to mind that if you could share that someone could take with them?
To step into those uncomfortable conversations. One of my favorite books is Conscious Loving by Gay and Kathleen Hendricks. And one of the things that they had in there was the microscopic truth, that thought that you have that you're like, oh, I couldn't share that. That thought opens up the world to that other person, to that relationship, creates a whole new way of being and kind of friendship
because it gives other people permission to be vulnerable.
Yes. And yes, they hear that. And there's just a magic to it that when someone shares something that's vulnerable to them, whether it's something like you're dating somebody and
the significance to you is not important, but to them, it's something.
Right. Yes. And there's just something that just allows the depth of connection to go deeper than it was. And whatever that resent and that different type of thing, that just seems to just fall away. So having the courage to step into those tough conversations and speak that microscopic truth, that thing that you're like, oh, I couldn't say that, but if you can share it and it's not a blaming or a judgment of the other person, it's like, this is what's coming up for me and it's scary. And I didn't want to share it, but I felt like I want it to be out rather than stuck inside of me. And then that person is like, oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that was either. I didn't know that was coming up for you. And now I can be with you with that. Or, oh, okay, that opens up a whole new avenue and just conversations about things.
But it's also a release for that person,
Yes.
like just sort of a weight off.
Yeah.
So it really feels a lot like if we can be a little bit more vulnerable and also work on letting go of our ego.
Yes. Yeah. And yeah. And
That's when we allow for deeper, more meaningful community and friendship building and just more connection, which on the surface sounds so simple.
Right. But
there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to let go of your ego. And I think your ego is like a lot.
Yeah.
And then to be vulnerable, you have to pull on that like sort of bravery and that courage.
Yeah.
What do you like detach from the outcome of how people react to that and just go with that? Or, you have to know that you're already in some sort of safe place to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, is it always going to work out the way that you want it?
No, but it might work out the way you need it to.
Yeah. 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 And then understanding your needs in the situation, understanding what other people's needs are in the situation has also been very big. If someone else has uncertainty in what's going on in their life, nothing else matters. Like they can't see anything else until that kind of settled down for them. So it's understanding some of those things to help people connect.
Well, I think that's beautiful.
Thanks.
Well, so we're going to get to the Ripple Challenge,
Okay.
But I think I have learned some new things about you in this conversation. I mean, I think that this is one of the reasons why I just really enjoy our friendship is because we can talk about these things and we can talk about vulnerable things and our experiences and that we sort of take it in and process it and sit with it. I feel like I'm going to be thinking about the things you said for a while and just sort of sitting with that and taking some of those things into practice when I am meeting new people or trying something new or even thinking about like how I can grow other parts of my community. So one of the things that I thought would be really cool on this project is to see if us sitting down and having a meaningful conversation, which I hope it was meaningful, would inspire you to then think about who else you could sit and just have a conversation with. You know, a deep conversation. I feel like, or a longer conversation, right? A more in depth. It doesn't have to be super, super deep. But I think that we're so accustomed to sending a quick text or a meme or a video. And that is part of connecting, right? Is staying relevant in those quick times. But I think taking the time to either call someone on the phone, like a FaceTime, where you can see their face and you can look into their and see their expressions and laugh with them and hang out with them. I don't do it enough. You know, I think there's a million reasons why we get busy, all these things. And so I'm really excited to sit down with each of my friends and have a real conversation that we haven't had in a long time, just about anything that comes up for us. So can you think of anybody that you would want to maybe pay that forward with?
Yeah. There's someone in my dance community that we've just connected. And it's such an odd thing when someone connects. There's no real rhyme or reason. It's like we're vibrating at a similar frequency. And when you find each other, it feels like you can just go, oh, okay, and just kind of settle down.
I think people are definitely meant to meet each other.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. And we've had different conversations. She came over to my birthday and she's been popping into my head more often about certain conversations that we've had and wanting to develop some of those friendships deeper. Like right now, I think we're past the acquaintance phase and we're friends, but we haven't spent a lot of time outside of the dance stuff and the picnics in the park. And the people that intrigue me and are creative and have that kind of vibration, it's a good reminder to step more into those. And that's
to be a little bit more vulnerable and ask,
Right.
hey, would you want to, what do you think you're going to do? Like, what do you see you guys doing? Just for anybody who's listening, who's like, okay, but like, what does that look like?
The first thing that popped in my head is to take a little walk somewhere, whether it's in a neighborhood, like in Culver City, down
like after
Park,
dance class, after the lunch,
or even another time, just to say, I've had some things on my mind and there's some things that I'm curious about with you. And would you be opposed to sitting down or walking around and hanging out for a little bit and seeing if we can kind of develop this a little bit further? And she did the spiritual psychology program too, at a different time. We have some shared language around some of that and know how to get deep, but we just haven't had as many opportunities
alone or to do that without other people.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's really great. So I look forward. So I'll be sort of checking in with you to see
accountability helps
when you did that and how that went.
Yeah.
Because what I'd really love to track is sort of all of our connections. So we will have a website. I'm working on building that, and I have put in a map. And so I have, we'll be tracking all the places, where we are, and just to see, you're going to come back sort of at the end of the season after I've sat down with everybody, and we're going to track how big the village has grown. Hopefully it's grown a little, and to see for anybody listening or watching, if they want to let us know, a connection that they made. So hopefully we can track that and grow that. So I will be following up with you on that.
Cool.
Okay. Is there anything else that we missed? I feel like,
there's so many other
there's so many other things, but we don't get to sit and talk one-on-one a lot about the different journeys that you're taking. And so I really appreciate you sharing that here, sort of with everybody and how you got there. I think the more we can share how we look at community and being open to talk to our friends about it first.
Yeah.
Right? Our friends seem like the most obvious place to start talking about that. Yeah. So hopefully that will be helpful out there to even one person, right? We get closer every time we have a meaningful conversation.
Yeah. That one ripple continues on, the ripples never ends. So you create that one.
So I want to thank you for taking this time. Sit with me. Josh and I are going to be doing some other little bonus projects. So listen out for that. Look out for that. And then you'll be here at the end.
Cool.
So if anybody listening or watching called somebody because of this episode, please tell us who in the comments. We have a YouTube channel and an Instagram. Both are at Village in Progress Podcast. So if you liked this and you want to hear more, please subscribe to the channels. Like the post, we'll be posting some behind the scene pictures and some other things. So definitely follow us there and subscribe where you can, and share this episode with anybody that you felt like could benefit from it. And we just really want to thank you for joining our village and supporting this project. So from our village to yours, thank you for listening. And until next time, connect, contribute, and hopefully build with some purpose.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
How did I get into van life? I had never thought about being in a van before. So I really love this section. This is a section that I'm sitting in most of the day. I got a great view out. I got 700 amp hours of lithium batteries in here. Powers everything from the AC to my little toaster oven. I met a spiritual dude a long time ago, and he told me I was a giraffe among zebras. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name's Josh. I've been in my van for about 1.5 years now. Come on.
If this episode inspired you to reach out to someone or make a new connection, we would love to hear about it. Please send us a message or drop us a comment on our Instagram at Village in Progress Podcast, or you can drop a comment on our YouTube channel at Village in Progress Pod. And if you would like to hear more of our episodes, please subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe and follow wherever you listen and watch. From our village to yours, thank you so much for listening. Keep connecting, growing, and let's build something meaningful together. Talk to you next week.